Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
How was
Out here on a
first,
Saturday?
Yeah,
Nice.
Saturday morning. How's the first fully padded getting after double-day practice?
Well, we're halfway through it. You know, the first part of it was good. I think we're starting to understand the tempo aspect of it, what we're after. And it's not easy to play fast. I mean, it sounds cool and it sounds like, you know, yeah, I want to play fast. But the bottom line is, it's tough. I mean, you got to be in great shape and you got to dig down and be able to push yourself because, you know, with the tempo going at that type of speed, then you've got to be able to sustain. And so I think we're just starting to learn that and figure that out.
Do you think the message that was sent yesterday was received, and that's why the tempo was better today?
Hopefully so. Yeah, that yesterday was nowhere near good enough. We talked about that. Today they came out with more resolve and more focus on that, and it got done. Got done a lot better yesterday.
Any standouts?
Let's see. Today, I thought the running backs ran hard, particularly in the live work. Kelvin, Carl Williams, Lucky did some good things. So I think the running backs in the live part of the practice did a nice job.
Coach Erickson talked about you guys looking at moving Troy McCormick maybe to the slot. Is that just because he's talented? You got to find a way to get him on the field.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we've got a lot of running backs, and he's capable of playing running back. He's not real big right now. We got to put some weight on his frame, but in order to utilize him and not have him stacked behind 3 or 4 guys at one position, we can get him some reps and find a way to get him on the field as a slot.
How'd Blecken look to you? It was first real good live, full padded action for him today.
He's better. He was better today. I got to watch the film to make sure, but it looked like he was moving a lot better, and he played more snaps today, which is a good thing.
Because we're in the stadium, simulated again.
Maybe I got his juices going. I don't know. I could be.
Jeremiah Potasio was sitting out in the pit today. What's going on?
Yeah, a little sore, lower back, and we'll talk about injuries until 2 weeks out, and then after that we won't visit injuries at all. But until 2 weeks out, I can go ahead and answer those questions. And so he's got a sore back, and it's nothing serious. At least they tell us it's not right now. So we're just taking a precautionary measure. If he had to play today, he could have, but we need to make sure he's completely healthy.
Are you getting enough plays out of your wide receivers? There still seem to be a fair number of drops from those guys.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, and I challenge those guys. You know, we talked about that in the first team meeting, that last year they weren't productive enough. And, Andres and Scotty are really the leaders of that crew, and they're the ones that have to step up and make sure things get done the right way.
McGill and some other guys that are injured.
Yeah, McGill's got a concussion, and it looks like we hope to get him back early next week. But again, that's the doctor, and they make those decisions, and so we'll see when he can be cleared.
Does this seem like a high number of concussions for you, or is the procedure now more in depth where you can tell what they are?
Probably a little both. You know, this is our 3rd one, I think, this spring. And 6 practices, and so 2, 3, 4 years ago it would have probably been 0 because I think they're mild concussions, except for Rashawn Hoover's case. But I have no control over that. So we just rely on our medical staff, which does a great job, and hopefully we'll keep it to a minimum.
How's Nate Orchard performed for you through the first 6 days of practice?
Good. He's had a good first 6 days. He's added some weight to his frame in the offseason. He's 255, which was what he needed to do. He's got more strength. He's playing with more physicality, and what he needs to do is be the same guy every day. Come to practice, show up, and play at the same level day in and day out instead of being hot and cold. He had a tendency in last year to be a little hot and cold.
I didn't see Andrew Albers out there today.
Concussion. He's the 3rd concussion. Yeah, we had Hooker, Albers, McGill. Those are the concussion guys. Yeah.
We didn't get to see Pavave last year because of an injury. How's he looked? I mean, he's backing up at both tackle spots. How's he looked?
Well, he's got himself in great shape. You know, he was a little overweight when he got here. He was about 330. He's down to 310. The Achilles is completely healed. He's got a little foot issue that's bothering him. Other than that, he's looked good. The foot thing slowed him down a little bit today, but he's worked hard in the offseason, and he's a guy that hasn't played for a couple of years, so he's shaking the rust off too.
Talk about Filippo Mokafisi today. I saw him running with a lot of 1s and 2s today.
Yeah, he's a very promising freshman. He's he's probably grown an inch since we recruited and put on 30 pounds. I mean, he just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and his dad was a great player here, and we think he's got a very bright future, and he is starting to see some reps with the first group on occasion. Now, a lot of that is due to Trevor Riley being held out of the live work. You know, if Trevor's available and healthy, then Filippo's reps are less.
Is he more of a true defensive end? You have a lot of tweeners.
Right. He's more of a true defensive end. He's about 250 now, and we project him to 275-ish.
Any of the quarterbacks doing anything to distinguish themselves at this point?
You know, not today. You know, I think there was a mixed bag as far as what they did, and made some good plays and some not so good plays. So we got to look at the film. evaluate every single thing they do every day. Everything's charted. It's all quantified, statistically, and so we're doing everything we can to decide, what the pecking order is going to be once we get to that point.
Showing those attributes that Brian had in '08.
Not yet. They're all learning. They're all just sophomores and freshmen, and Brian really came into his own this senior year, and so they don't have the experience that Brian had in '08, but they got to do it. They got to learn quick because they're one of those guys is going to be the guy, and right now it's still Travis, and I'm not saying I anticipate that changing because I don't unless somebody beats him out, but he's got to continue to develop that aspect of his game.
How'd the corners perform today?
A little bit of a drop-off from yesterday. They had an outstanding live work yesterday, losing McGill. Joe Smith's out. Davion Orfeh is out with a little hip flexor, so the numbers are thin. So they got worn a little ragged today, and I think they wore out by the end of practice.
Well, it seemed like a few of your players were gassed by the end of the day.
That's the idea. Like I said, if you're going to play fast, it comes at a price. It's just not something cool to say. If you're going to do it, you're going to get tired, and you got to be willing to push yourself in practice. So when game time comes, you're in shape and ready to handle it.
Do you feel like, even though the numbers are thin right now, maybe by the end of camp, getting these young kids as many reps at corner as you are right now could pay a big dividend?
Sure, better. We're going to have to rely on some of them. There's not enough corners with any experience that we can. There's no time to soak those guys in the system and let them develop at their own pace. They got to develop fast, and so hopefully. And they are making the most of these reps. Particularly Porter. Reggie Porter's the guy that really has taken a step forward in the last couple of times.
Sharif called him maybe the most consistent corner you've had throughout the first 6 days of practice.
I think you could probably say that. I think that would be an accurate statement.
Seattle picked Kyle Otonga is another freshman who's seen a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
He had a nice play on the last drive today.
Yeah.
How's he going?
He's got a lot of potential. He's a fast learner, and he is moving up the depth chart. He's been a very, very pleasant surprise. And I shouldn't say surprise, but he's played well. We knew he was a good football player coming out of high school. But he was slowed by that knee injury last year at Cottonwood and didn't have a chance to play a full season. And he's come back off that. He looks great. He's 250 plus pounds, and he looks like he's 230. I mean, he's a lean 250, and so he's got a big frame. And I think the future for him is very bright.
Smith's injury, what does he have?
Which Smith? Joseph.
Joseph.
He's got a hamstring.
Yeah. Talked about replacing Moses on the roster. I saw number 47 out there today.
Yeah, we were able to call in a couple extra walk-ons from the bullpen with the guys that have been DQ'd medically, and Alex was one of them. And so he was out here for the first time. And we've got Peta here in camp, our defensive lineman from Tempe High School. Lo Falamaka is now with us. He was scheduled to gray shirt just like Clarence Smith, and so both those gray shirts were able to be brought in this year because of the situation with the medical people.
Is Peta cleared and ready to play ball, or is he?
We're working on that. He's ready to practice. He's cleared to practice and enjoy the team, and we're still working through the process as far as eligibility.
And what about Alex? He's pretty excited to get back on the
He's
football
very
field. It's
excited.
been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
Was it his first play of his senior year?
First series.
First series.
It was like the 6th play, something like that. It was the first series of the senior year.
Oh, if you had sons play for you before, you had your son play for you before.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's good. Love to have him on the team. He's got to earn his way like everybody else. He's going to start from square one. He's got to work his way up, and it's all on him. He's treated no different than anyone else on the team.
Are you starting to kind of see a pecking order on the defensive line shaking out? I mean, you got Tenney at the 1. Do you see a pecking order there?
Yeah, we Tenney and LT would be the starters if we had to play today. But right behind them is a group of guys that's going to play, and how much they play will be determined by how much they progress in the next 2.5, 3 weeks. But Sese Iano is doing a nice job. Tui Kolovatu is doing a great job. Seni Fanuku got injured, unfortunately. It's a calf strain, so he should be back. But he's playing well. Hunter Dimmick. I mean, there's 4 or 5 guys behind those 2 starters that are pushing them, and that will be somewhere in the rotation.